Everyone agrees on one thing: NVIDIA is at the center of the AI revolution. But that's exactly where the real question begins. Because when a company becomes this dominant, this essential, you have to ask, is this a generational opportunity or the peak of a cycle? The market consensus is clear. NVIDIA is the backbone of the AI revolution. From hyperscalers to research labs, everything seems to run on NVIDIA hardware, and demand still exceeding supply. But this leads to a deeper question. Is this dominance durable, or are we looking at a temporary surge driven by an unprecedented wave of AI spending? The surface narrative is simple. AI demand explodes, leads to NVIDIA sells the compute. But this explanation misses the real story, because NVIDIA is not just selling chips, it is controlling the AI compute layer, a vertically integrated system that makes NVIDIA essential across the entire AI stack. To understand NVIDIA, you have to understand one core idea: parallel processing. Traditional CPUs process tasks sequentially, step by step. But AI doesn't work like that. AI requires billions, sometimes trillions, of calculations at the same time. And that's exactly what GPUs are built for. Thousands of smaller cores working in parallel, solving matrix computations at scale. This is not just faster. It's structurally necessary for AI. Most people think NVIDIA's advantage is hardware. It's not. The real moat is CUDA. CUDA is NVIDIA's proprietary software platform, and it only runs on NVIDIA GPUs, which creates something extremely powerful: developer lock-in. Over the last decade, AI models, frameworks, and workflows have been built on CUDA. So even if a competitor builds a similar chip, switching is not simple. It requires rewriting models, rebuilding pipelines, retraining systems. This is not a technical problem. It's an economic barrier. NVIDIA didn't stop at GPUs. It expanded across the stack. GPUs, networking interconnect. Because modern AI doesn't run on a single chip. It runs on clusters, massive distributed systems where thousands of GPUs work together. And NVIDIA now controls how those systems are built, how they communicate, how they scale. This is system-level dominance. Now let's look at the numbers. NVIDIA's data center revenue, $3 billion in 2020, nearly $200 billion in 2026. And analyst expectations suggest over $300 billion in 2027, approaching $780 billion long-term. This is one of the fastest scaling businesses in history, and it's driven by one thing: artificial intelligence infrastructure build-out. Three forces are driving this demand. One, hyperscalers, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, all racing to build AI infrastructure. Two, enterprise AI, companies integrating AI into workflows, driving inference demand. Three, sovereign AI, governments investing in national AI capabilities. And the scale? A single data center can require tens of billions of dollars. While data center dominates, other segments still matter. Gaming remains strong, and automotive is emerging as a long-term opportunity. But make no mistake, NVIDIA is now an AI infrastructure company. NVIDIA's financial profile is extraordinary. Approximately 70% gross margins, approximately 60% operating margins, $60 billion plus cash. This is not just growth. This is highly profitable dominance. At the March 2026 GTC conference, NVIDIA dropped a bombshell. They expect $1 trillion in cumulative revenue from their Blackwell and Rubin products between 2025 and 2027. And here's the kicker. Management says that estimate is now conservative because of the massive surge in agentic AI and physical AI spending. We are looking at a company with $60 billion in cash and virtually no debt. NVIDIA has made key strategic moves: Mellanox to networking control, OpenAI investment to ecosystem positioning, CUDA expansion to software dominance. These are not random decisions. They reinforce the moat. Competition exists. AMD is improving hardware. Google and Amazon are building custom chips. But here's the nuance. Hyperscalers want control, but enterprises want flexibility. And that creates space for NVIDIA because it remains the neutral platform. Now the risks. 1. Demand slowdown. AI capex may not grow forever. 2. Custom silicon. Hyperscalers reduce dependence. 3. Cyclicality. Semiconductors are not linear. 4. Execution risk. Supply chain, product ramps, geopolitics. There is also concentration risk. NVIDIA depends heavily on a small number of hyperscalers, and all of them have incentives to reduce dependency. But execution is difficult, because leaving CUDA is not trivial. Another key risk, return on investment. Hundreds of billions are being spent on AI, but are the returns there? If not, spending slows, orders decline. And NVIDIA feels it first. Geopolitics is now part of the story. Export restrictions limit access to China, which means NVIDIA's total market is constrained, and this is not temporary. Competitors are improving. AMD, Google, Amazon, and Intel. But NVIDIA's lead is not just hardware, it's ecosystem, and that is much harder to replicate. NVIDIA continues to innovate. Hopper, Blackwell, Rubin. Each generation improves performance, deepens lock-in. This is compounding advantage. This all leads to the central question: is NVIDIA a structural winner or a cyclical peak? Bull case: CUDA lock-in, ecosystem dominance, massive AI demand. Bear case: valuation risk, demand normalization, competitive pressure. We, as Capital Insight Lab, are optimistic about NVIDIA's future and think bull case make more sense. Valuation is complex because NVIDIA sits between two categories: semiconductor company, platform company, and the answer determines everything. If you view NVIDIA solely as a semiconductor company, that points to an overvaluation. On the other hand, if you consider NVIDIA as a platform company with a real competitive advantage, that points to a fair to cheap valuation. So what is NVIDIA? One of the strongest moats in tech, or the peak beneficiary of an AI cycle? The truth is, it's both. NVIDIA has built a structurally powerful position, but its future depends on the durability of AI demand. And that question is still open. History clearly proves that the demand for AI is cyclical. However, we must also keep in mind that there has never been such a revolutionary advancement in AI in history. So, this time is different. We are on the verge of a permanent breakthrough. We, as Capital Insight Lab, believe that NVIDIA is likely to remain the defining AI infrastructure company of this decade.